You know what? Born Kauailoa Drive in Haleiwa, Oahu, and raised Whitmore Village, Oahu. And growing up in Kauailoa was, if you really know the place, then you know it. It was way up in the mountains in Haleiwa, plantation homes, and was just plantation life. Playing in the dirt, playing in the sugarcane fields, playing with my neighbor, riding bicycles up the dirt roads, potholes, 10-inch potholes all over the place. So was really good growing up there. But Whitmore Village, where I got my elder years, was really good. Plantation homes again, but was more free than it is today. We used to rip off coins from the video games that we used to play. Have a little game room, but we used to sneak inside and rip the quarters, So it was fun actually committing minor crimes back then. But I wouldn't trade it for the world because you appreciate those little things. Not the crime parts, but actually the crime parts and getting away with it. You know what I mean?
It taught you elusiveness.
Yes. A recluse. I can be recluse if I have to. But was real good. Was growing up in plantation homes. Never wasn't rich at all, but was very rich with community. Right? With playing off the land, pineapple fields, red dirt, the creek, being able to ride the bike to Waiawa, which is just over the river. But yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world, bro. Made some really good friends, and I'm still friends with those people till this day.
Okay,
yeah.
Nice. So you and Grad Lelehua.
Yep, Lelehua, home of the Moolies. The Samoans would say, yeah.
The Moolies.
So Lelehua
I had
Moolies.
to think about that for a second. I was like, what? Moolies?
Yeah, Lelehua 93, which makes me, 32 years old. So still get some time in life.
Yeah. I think that math was correct. Because I was born in 1993.
For real?
Yeah.
So basically, when I went squeeze one off for the first time, he just was born.
Wait, Dad?
We get the same nose. I think we get the same nose, I think.
I think I need to borrow the glasses because I was having a hard time reading the teleprompter.
You might be my son.
I gotta go to the eye doctor after this.
I'm Portuguese in some areas. So,
hey, Tumo had the shirt. Portuguese by blood, Portuguese by choice.
There you go.
That could be the latter.
So I would be Filipino by blood, but fuck. I don't know. People nowadays consider me not being from Hawaii. So Filipino by blood. But one guy called me on Jap.
What?
One guy called me on Jap.
Like he said Jap?
Yeah, on his post about me, he said, look at this Jap. But I am Japanese.
Yeah, but that's not the point. That's not the point.
But yeah, he called me on Jap. But yeah, Filipino by blood, but I guess Japanese by looks, I guess.
Yeah.
We're tan Jap.
Depends how my skin color is, or if I get a little face hair, I'm Mexican.
I could see that.
If I'm over here, I'm probably Mexican.
You know what? You put one sombrero on top, hat, coffee beans, maracas, you pass for sure. Yeah. But you know what? When I first moved here in Vegas, never have that much Hawaiians, and they spoke to me in Mexican. They thought I was Mexican. I mean, at the time, I was painting houses, so I guess, I fit the bill, right? Painting houses.
Oh, this guy's a hard worker. He's probably Mexican.
Who's this guy? But he don't understand what we're saying. You know what I mean? So I could see why we get passed for Mexican, though, bro. But the Mexicans is the Filipinos of the mainland, to me. Because I know all races get hard workers. Every race get hard workers and get lazy people. But in Hawaii, I guess you could say majority of the time, it's all the Filipinos that's just fucking busting. Majority of the time you see that, right? Landscaping, dishwashing, or cooks at the restaurants. Mainland is the Mexicans, bro.
That's a good comparison.
It's a really good one. And you know what? There's nothing, being that I've been in the mainland for a long time, Mexican workers and the Mexican people, they're hard workers, bro. Really hard workers, man.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get, President Trump is evicting some of them, right? But I get why he's doing them. But I get some Americans that you should be fucking deporting before the hardworking Mexicans. You know what I mean?
Keep the hard workers. You take the lazy Americans.
Yes, take the lazy Americans. You know what I mean?
Nah. He's doing them a favor because they wouldn't last in Mexico.
They wouldn't.
They wouldn't. They'd be like, what? No more fast food here. Where's the McDonald's?
Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Doritos Locos Tacos is my favorite.
Yeah. We were just talking about how on the podcast, off the podcast, sorry. Jordan was saying, oh yeah, chefs, they don't eat when they're cooking. And then he was just saying, I'd rather cook Taco Bell after.
Yeah, I don't eat, bro. I don't eat. And most professional chefs, they're gonna agree with me that while we cooking or while we working, we tasting so much during our shift that we don't even get hungry. And when we do, we're probably getting off work at midnight, 1 in the morning. There's really no options to eat, right? So it's for me Taco Bell, Doritos Locos Tacos, Supreme, spicy sauce, El Scorcho, or is that no? That's fuck. I think it's Del Taco or Del Scorcho.
You get it all mixed up.
Yeah, but spicy sauce and fuck, call it a day. One root beer, call it a day.
Solid.
Yeah.
So you moved up to Vegas at 18, right? But what were you doing before that? So you just came right after high school. What were you into before that? Like, were you into cooking, or did you have any plans as a career before you moved up here in Vegas?
You know what? No, I had no immediate goals. I had no dreams or anything. I just knew that my dad got fired from the sugar company and we had to move because cost of living back then was already getting expensive. So my uncle was already living here. And we moved up here and I just needed a job. And at the time, my uncle was painting houses. So he gave me a job prepping, caulking door jams, caulking baseboards, sanding doors was the worst thing, dude. And I did that for a few years until I got fired.
How come you got fired?
Just, I was over it. I mean, I think my own uncle caught me sleeping in one of the houses or something because I went out the night before or something, and I was sleeping in one of the houses, and lunchtime came, just looking for me, and I was in one of the closets sleeping. So, yeah, I got fired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, some people come out of the closet. You just take naps in the closet.
That's what I do, bro. You know what I mean? I'm always opposite. I go against the grain.
Yeah.
While people coming out, I going in. You know what I mean? So, led to that. I got fired, and then I needed a job. And lo and behold, my friend was a dishwasher at the time at Aloha Specialties at the California Hotel. And they needed a dishwasher, which now, years after that, I think he wanted to get out the dish pit, so he brought me in so that he could move up. So that's what happened. I came in as a dishwasher, and fuck, the rest is history, dude.
Yeah.
History, bro.
So while you were over there, did you start to get interested in cooking just because you were around it? Were you starting, I don't know, were you living on your own here and you just had to cook out of necessity? How did you fall in love with the art of cooking?
You know what? I was, at the time, a dishwasher needed a job. I was living on my own. And I started to get more interested watching the guys cook. And such a small world. One of the cooks was this guy, Uncle Peter Medrano. And he was from Waiwa. He went to Lelehua. And so he was asking me my name, who's my uncles, who's my aunties. And so I named him my uncle, which was my Uncle Inky. Mm-hmm. And he said, oh, your Uncle Inky saved my life. When we was in high school, I was go, wow, how he saved your life? Mm-hmm. So there's a river that separates Whitmore Village from Waiwa, right? There's a river. So the Waiwa guys at the time play on the Waiwa side. The Whitmore guys is on the Whitmore side. So I guess Uncle Peter and his friends went swim to the Whitmore side. And so my uncle and his friends, well, my uncle wasn't there at the specific time, but his friends was going to beat up Uncle Peter then. So they was trying to swim across the river to the Waiwa side, and then my uncle was there. He said, hey, stop hassling Peter, that's my friend. So the Whitmore guys would stop chasing them across the river, and then that's how he called it my uncle saving his life growing up. So cool. Uncle Peter is one of the cooks, and he kind of took me under his wing. Like, you know what, Gene, you like, learn how to cook. Right now, Larry Yamagata was the owner of Aloha Specialties. Mm-hmm. Rest in peace. But at the time, he thought I was useless because I was just used to partying, coming in and just washing dishes, whatever. So when Uncle Peter approached Larry and said, hey, I'm going to train Gene how to cook. He goes, nah, he's worthless. No need. So what I did was kind of get a little more serious about things because I wanted to learn. And so long story short, Uncle Peter started training me behind Larry's back. And then one time it was busy and I went and said, hey, Larry, go take a cigarette break. He's like, what are you talking about? And then Uncle Peter said, no, go take a cigarette break. And I ran that front line without Larry knowing. And from then I became a line cook. So that was my introduction into cooking professionally.
And what kind of food did you cook in the beginning?
Aloha Specialties was just a local place. They cook Hawaii local food in a California hotel on the second floor. So I got to just basically see how, they cook in hamburger steaks, sai min, wonton min, pork tofu, terry beef, all this kind of stuff. So I got to see firsthand, oh shit, okay, this is how they're making the stuff that I love to eat at the time. So I got to learn that. And then fuck, the rest is history, man. I didn't know it at the time, but I spent maybe 3-4 years at Aloha Specialties, and then I went to work for this guy named Russell, who is now one of the major players in Aloha Shoyu.
Mm-hmm.
He owned a Japanese restaurant called Nozomi on Charleston and Rancho, and he needed workers. So I said, you know what? I kind of want to go learn sushi. And so I left. I left Aloha Specialties to go work with Russell to cook in the kitchen and to learn sushi, which I never learned how to do sushi. I learned how to cook Japanese food is what I did. So I learned that. But while cooking at Nozomi and learning Japanese food like misoyaki, breaking down some salmon, tempura, I learned tempura from an old school chef where you still dipping your hands in the oil and doing the tempura on the shrimp and the vegetables.
Oh.
Right? So your fingernails are covered with hot oil.
Well, you're just burning your skin. It's like you just build calluses.
Well, no, there's a trick to it where you got the tempura batter, so the tempura batter is coating your finger.
Oh, I see.
But you got to time them because if it's in there too long, then you're getting burnt. So I learned that art of making tempura the correct way. Because nowadays, I would say 80% of people buying them frozen and just throwing them in the fryer. I can name a few restaurants out there that does it, but it's not my thing. So, I learned that, bro. So along the way, I learned a lot of different cuisines. And then from when I learned that, I stayed there for a year. And then I went to learn Italian. I went to learn Italian at this place called Di Martino's, home-style Italian cooking. And I learned how to do Italian food, building tomato sauces, white sauces, and everything, using the starchy water to build your sauces from the pasta. So I did all that, and then my career just took off from there. But
So, okay, I have a question. So while you're doing all of this, you're getting into cooking, you're making, some nice dishes for others.
Yeah.
Do you spend the same time making dishes for yourself as a chef?
You know what? At that time, yes. I would go home and perfect my craft. I would go home and try and practice these things on my own. And then, sometimes would bomb, but sometimes would come out good. And so earlier I would practice. I would even, at the time, I wasn't even cooking local food. I would make the simple tuna, pork and beans and rice if I was hungry. But there were times when I had money, I would cook these things that I would want to try from work and stuff like that. So the passion just grew bigger.
I see. And it wasn't just like you just wanted to give yourself a nice meal. You were just practicing at the same time.
Yeah.
You were just getting extra reps in.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
getting extra reps. Yeah. And then at the time, I'm single. I'm thinking, if I can cook.
Yeah.
Fucking chicks come over and I'm cooking this dish. So that was my mind frame at the time, right? And I was real passionate and learning more.
Okay.
I still learn to this day, but back then I was really eager about learning more about cooking.
Okay.
And the different types of cuisines out there in the world is what I was thinking, So my passion really grew. And it wasn't until I got a job as a sous chef at Roy's up here in Vegas that I would piece everything together. In the 6th grade, I did a cooking demo that my mom would help me with. And I would cook tuna and egg patties for my classmates. Had the portable stove burner. Then my mom came in and helped me. So all that came into play on where I'm at today. Right? At the time, I didn't know it, but thinking back on what I did in the 6th grade with the cooking demo for my classmates and all that, I was meant for this. I'm here. I'm where I'm at. I'm where God needs me to be and where he planned for me to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool because you just came up here not even thinking your whole life was about to change, A lot of times we go through life and we don't realize that that certain moments in our life is going to be the defining moment or it's going to be the catalyst to lead us into what we're doing. I mean, even, your videographer, another Hilo boy, Regan, he was just saying he came up here for fighting. Now he's doing video.
Yeah.
He never could make a career in fighting here, but that brought him here. And that led to so many other things that he's doing. So it's cool. Even though, you come here for one thing, you end up doing another thing.
Yes.
And that's not always a bad thing.
No, and the thing that gives me more respect to Regan on the video part is that he found it within himself to know that he came up here for fighting, but he wasn't gonna make it as a fighter and found something else. Most people don't do that. They have so much. I mean, I have pride in what I do, But I also know when I'm defeated and I need to go somewhere else. You know, and I give Regan the most respect at that young age, being able to realize that your goal of what you came up here for is not going to be reached, and you finding plan B. You know, most people are going to be stubborn and say, and just live that dream of I still can be a fighter at 60 years old. You know? So,
I mean, certain careers definitely, like we hear the kind like acting. You can, probably be an actor until you're, 70s, 80s, right? For fighting, that's a little different. There's a timeline. There's a window where you can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so different careers depends on that too.
Especially fighting, right?
Yeah.
Especially fighting. So, yeah, I'm real stoked that he was able to acknowledge that at such a young age and then pivoted and became a fucking badass videographer, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, so the way he set up this diffuser.
Yeah, there you go.
Nah, so you started off as a dishwasher, started to get into, cooking all these dishes, learning how to cook all these different types of cuisines. And then at what point did you were you inspired to, do your own thing, or like was it when you started to go on the that show Top Chef, or after that did that cause you to, get a lot of I guess momentum and opportunities so you can open up your own stuff?
You know what? After I did Top Chef, I kind of got discouraged, bro.
Really?
I got discouraged with the whole culinary industry because, I felt I accomplished something, being the first person, a native of Hawaii, to be on that show. I was the very first.
And you went about like a little bit more than halfway, yeah?
I went a little bit more than halfway. No culinary training, right?
Yeah.
Started off as a dishwasher.
Oh yeah, I forgot, no culinary training. Yeah.
And if you look at it, if you see the very first episode of my season, you see me showing up with one cooler. I get all my belongings in one
that was
fucking
the
cooler.
bus that we saw that Eric is like, hey, I gotta move this bus. Look, it's one cooler.
Yeah, so I came with one cooler. Everybody else is with their knife bags and everything like that. But
that's so Hawaii.
After I got off the show, I got discouraged because a lot of people, because I was on the show, they would hire me on to create menus and get things going because I was on Top Chef, right? But after I would create these menus, it would lead to dead ends and they would let me go. So I was getting very discouraged. Like, fuck, I cannot really find one solid job at one position that I think I deserve, right? And so I got discouraged.